Hart, who has been selected as our Man of the Year. Sponsored by Valley Family Healthcare, our special presenters tonight are Ken's children, Ben, Grace, Tessa, and Dee.
Good evening. My name is Grace, for those of you who don't know who I am. These are my siblings, Tessa, they're at the end, Beatrice, and Ben. Though we've begun to move away as we finish high school, get married, and pursue our passions, we all grew up here in Ontario. Our mom, Sheila, did too. She was born at St. Alphonsus, back when it was still called Holy Rosary, went to church at Blessed Sacrament with her parents, Jack and Mary K. Collins, and graduated valedictorian from Ontario High School. Though she left to attend college and get her start in the working world, she knew this was where she wanted to raise her family. And when she returned, she brought our father, Ken Hart, with her.
If you're sitting in this room, I'm sure that name sounds familiar. Our dad has a tendency to stick his nose in other people's business. Trust us, we know. We've all lived with him. To his credit, his meddling is usually well-intentioned. Growing up, we always had someone making sure we were staying on top of our schoolwork, remembering our appointments, and helping out with the household chores. And like any good boss, father, he was just as good a cheerleader as he was a manager. If you looked out at the spectators at any number of sporting or club events that we've been a part of during the past 2 decades, you're more likely than not see him sitting there smiling, still wearing the button-up and tie he wore that day to work. His encouragement and dedication, as annoying as they could be, helped us become the people we are today. Smart, reliable, compassionate, determined, outgoing, polite, and above all, extremely humble.
Needless to say, our father has always made it very clear how proud he is of us, and we would like to take this opportunity to return the favor. Though he spent time in DC working under Senator Hatfield in the 90s, and served as the CFO of the Red Cross in Portland soon after, his most impactful work has happened here. He's currently chair of the TVCC board, president of Valley Family Healthcare, a member of both the City Council and the Ontario School District Budget Committee, and an integral part of the team that helped launch the Ontario Promise program, which helps our students begin to save money to help them pursue education and vocational training beyond a high school diploma. We could go on listing important roles our father has played in the community, but I fear that would only serve to stroke his ego to the point that our trip home tonight would be a bit unbearable. Besides, even though I'm sure he enjoys being called fancy names like councilman and director, for our dad, titles are a means to an end. During his tenure as president of St. Al's, he was persistent in his mission to increase our Spanish-speaking community's access to care, recognizing that they were not only being underserved by the current system, but are vital to the cultural makeup of our city. More recently, he oversaw the construction of Valley Family's new facility in Fortner. When others questioned his decision on that choice of neighborhood, he reminded them that Fortner is where their clientele will have the easiest access to care. To him, success is not about how much money you can make, but how many lives you can change for the better. It's an ethos he brings to every project he's part of. So, while I'm sure he'll take every opportunity in the next 12 months to remind us whose 2023's Man of the Year was, we know that what matters most to him is the appreciation and love he receives from the community that has become his home. So without further ado, we would like to welcome up and congratulate our dad, Ken Hart.
They're going to make noises throughout the event. It is very humbling to have been nominated as the Man of the Year. I would like to thank the Chamber for this honor, especially Daisy Hovey, who nominated me, Dina Elminger as our Chamber Board Chair, and John Breidenbach as our President. Moving to Ontario some 20 years ago was the best decision that Sheila and I could have ever made. We have been embraced by the community and it has given us and our children so many opportunities. Like many of us, our family friends grew out of our kids' school. For us, that was St. Peter Catholic School. Families like the Hernandezes, the Herreras, the Jagelskis, the Petersons, and the Hungs helped make Ontario our home. St. Peter's has meant so much to the success of our kids and the grounding of our family in Ontario. Sheila and I have worked to instill in our children the importance of faith in their lives. A big thank you to Father Rob, Father Jude, Sister Regina, Sister Irene, and Principal Armida Hernandez for being such a strong influence on our 4 children as they grew up here. I have been blessed by so many people and organizations that have been willing to take a chance on me. Randy Griffin, then Vice President of Treasure Valley Community College, was the first one in Ontario willing to take this chance on a new guy from Portland, and he hired me as a college comptroller. Randy and TVCC gave my family the opportunity to move here and begin our life in Ontario. A few years later, I was given the chance by the Gentry family to take on the role of Chief Financial Officer for the family dealership and Edge Performance Sports. I learned so much from Ryan and his dad, John, about what it means to be a family business in a small community. Family businesses matter so much to the survival of communities like Ontario. I remember that when I told Ryan I was going to transition to a new career in healthcare at St. Alphonsus, he said I could go on one condition. That condition was to have Sheila come out of retirement as a CPA and join him at Edge. Ryan is a great businessman. He got the much better part of that deal. I would also like to thank St. Alphonsus for taking a chance on me and giving me the opportunity to learn about the healthcare industry. I'd especially like to thank the late Don Ramago, Sharon Wada, John Kirby, and Rick LaHeis, all members of the board of St. Alphonsus, who mentored me and allowed me to become the president of our local hospital for so many years. In 2020, I was given another great chance to grow and learn when Tim Hines at Valley Family called and asked me to be the CFO of our community health center. A few years later, I again was blessed to have the board of Valley Family, including Renelle Crosby, Carolyn Wesner, Joni Delgado, and Carlos Hernandez, allow me to take on the role of CEO at Valley Family. It has also been a great honor to be partners with others in our community to make a positive difference. Working with Mayor Riley Hill, Dirk DeBoer, Bill Johnson, and Andy Bentz, we at the Malheur County Poverty and Prosperity have had an interesting journey with great success, especially in providing opportunities for our local students in healthcare and other CTE fields. I also had the chance to work with Mayor Hill and then HC Board Chair Tom Greco to launch the Ontario Promise Program. With funds provided by the Ontario City Council, the scholarship program continues to show the children of our Ontario that we care about them and their future, and we want to invest in them. This program nearly died after its first year, but has recently been re-energized by the enthusiastic support of Ontario high school teacher Karina Larson and her Latino in Action high school students. It gives me great hope to see this next generation of leaders taking up this program and becoming the mentors and counselors to younger kids and their families to take part in the scholarship program. I'd like to thank my mom and dad, Chuck and Sally Hart, for instilling in me the importance of faith in God and a strong work ethic. My sister Donna, who was my best friend as I was growing up, spending my first 7 birthdays in 7 different towns. I owe a great deal to my older brother, but younger looking brother, John. He couldn't make it tonight. They got stuck in Portland because of ice. John and I lived together in Portland during my college years, and he taught me how to cook and enjoy life. Frozen corn, steak, and a pint of Baskin-Robbins ice cream as we watched C-SPAN every night. While John always has been my professional mentor, him and his wife Michelle have been an inspiration to me with the grace and compassion they have shown in dealing with many challenges in life. I'd like to thank Jack and Mary Kay Collins for having and raising Sheila in Ontario. I always appreciated Papa's words of wisdom. One of my favorite comments of his was that while some in the congregation would complain about the priest, and Father Joseph, don't worry, you're not one of the bad ones, Papa would always remind me that this was our church, and eventually the priest would move on. Papa wasn't going anywhere. This reminds me of Ontario. While we all may get frustrated with what they do on the west side of the state, or what our crazy city council does, Oregon and Ontario are ours, and they are worth fighting for. We aren't going anywhere. I'd like to recognize my mother-in-law, Mary Kay. Mary Kay has single-handedly kept TVCC afloat, taking over 10,000 pottery classes in the last 50 years. While Grandma Collins keeps us all humble with her sharp wit, she is one of the most generous people I know. Sheila and I are lucky to have our children here tonight. Army First Lieutenant Grace Kennedy and her husband, First Lieutenant Jay Kennedy. Grace was a 2016 Ontario High School graduate, 2021 University of Oregon grad in architecture and Army ROTC. Turn my page. We are proud of Grace and Jay for their service to our country, and we look forward to them producing future little Army ladies and Army men. In 2017, Benjamin simultaneously graduated from Ontario High School and TVCC. Ben went on to graduate from NYU in 2020. Ben lives in New York now as an up-and-coming, all-around talented person, and you can download Ben's latest song, written and performed by Ben, titled Be Her, on Spotify. I think he gets about a penny every time you do that. Tessa graduated from Ontario High School in 2020. She is finishing up her last year at Oregon State with a degree in ecological engineering. And I am proud to announce that Tessa has just been accepted into the U.S. Peace Corps and will be headed out September to represent the United States in Paraguay. Sheila is already planning our South American vacation to visit her. And then there is Beatrice, our last great hope. Bea will graduate from Ontario High School this year, but she is not sure where she would like to go to college. So I thought we could get some audience participation. Should she follow Grace and become a duck?
Yes.
Should she follow Tessa and become a beaver? Or should she make the board chair of the Treasure Valley Community College happy and become a trucker?
Go Chuckers!
Chuckers win. As I wrap up, I'd like to thank the most important person in my life, Sheila, my bride of 30 years. She was born and raised in Ontario. When we were moving here, I couldn't find a house to buy in Ontario at first. And I mentioned looking in Finland. She said fine, but I would be living there alone. Sheila has allowed me to scratch my political itch and came with me to Washington, D.C. at the beginning of our marriage. She has supported me in my job changes, and she has been the constant calm part of the Hart household. Sheila is also tough. Not long ago, I thought about stepping down from one of my roles in the community, and she responded with a shrug of her shoulders. And I asked, what did that mean? She said she wasn't overly fond of quitters. But I could do what I wanted. Let the record show I changed my mind and I did not quit. Thank you again for this honor, for all the trust. And I trust that all of you will continue to make our community a wonderful place for our children and for the next generation of families that will call Ontario home. Thank you.